So Nelson Mandela was born on July 18, 1918, and he was adopted by a tribe chief because his parents, his dad died very young. So when he was a young man, he was the first in the family to go to university and school, but he was soon expelled because of a student protest against apartheid and rights at the university. And he joined soon in his 20s in the liberation movement, the African National Congress, and he founded the African National Youth Congress. And he soon became the leader of the political party. And even though he first defended a non-violence protest, they soon founded an army, a shoot-off for the armies against apartheid that was known as MK. And in 1963, the government imprisoned him because of a protest that they did, and many leaders of the political party were imprisoned. And even though they tried to exchange his freedom in exchange to reject the protest and the activities against apartheid, he denied it. So he finally was free after 27 years in prison because of the pressure of other countries. And he finally became the first democratically elected president in 1994, and he also received the Nobel Prize in 1993.
Public premises and the amenities thereof have been reserved for the exclusive use of white persons by order provincial secretary. Well, down here it's in Dutch, I think it's in Dutch, yeah. What does this mean? I think this was in a bus or in a public bus, something related with public transport. That means that only white people could use that service.
The Separate Amenity Act of 1953 made segregation possible in public places, like we're seeing here. Whites couldn't share a bench with black people.
They didn't want to.
I didn't want to also. Today's signs say beware of the dog, but natives were treated as animals.
And they were closed by barbed wire. You know, it's like this here. It's beware of the dog is what they put in the gates today. Yeah, be careful with the dog. Yeah. This is what they said.
A young farmer is hurt at work and sent to hospital. On his exit from the hospital, he realizes that his country is totally different from the one that he had known. Jews were rejected and they had to live in a ghetto. A few days after his exit from the hospital, he gets in trouble with the forces of assault. Fortunately, he is saved by a colonel whom he had saved the life of at war. Meanwhile, the dictator himself was proposing to submit the war. When they ordered the colonel to attack the Jewish ghetto, he refuses and is imprisoned.
The Christian Chatham had to confront his fallen status, his economic rank, and political pressures before its premiere. Finally, the Second World War broke out, but fortunately, the White House offered its support to him. This work was censored in all the territories that had been taken by the Nazi army or sympathized with the Nazi party territories, and even in neutral countries. This film caused a frenzy in USA, in the UK, and in France when it was liberated.
To come alone, in groups, or massively to the stage, and you can say anything you like. especially if it answers some of the questions that we have for you. Let's begin with the first one, which is quite old, 1979. We're going to watch them in chronological order, and it has no words in it. It only has music and image. So you have to make up the story. That's your challenge for now. Let's start. It's called Every Child, and it received the prize from the United Nations.
I'm going to sleep in the house of her grandmother, and her grandmother tell history of a sleeping beauty.
This is as much as we know. There is a grandmother, there is a child sleeping in her house, and the grandmother tells a story.
Sleeping Beauty is a story of a girl that spent the night at her granny's house, and the granny tell her the story. A baby was born. She was a princess, and there was a Christmas party. There were many guests, but they didn't invite the old lady. And she was very angry and went to the party. And she called everybody that they ever asleep, they will die. And the girl can't sleep.
We have been working with pollution, ecology, immigration, caring about others. Those are topics that you see not only in your units and books, but in many subjects, not only English. As far as English go, well, you will be asked to do some work on this. You will be explained class by class, as you are too many, and before the first week of March, you should have something in your hand. Initially, this should be done person by person, so individually, and later we'll work in groups with the same topics. So make sure you get all the information you need from your teachers or from your partners if you have watched any of these short films before, and after that, hand it in if you want. It can be either written or audiovisual or any other kind of artwork. You'll receive more information this week and next week.
So it used to be black schools on one side, white schools on the other side, and they had to join together. So there you go, school segregation banned, but lots of people were not happy about it. So you can see protesters there saying, we won't go to school with Negroes. So the white people did not want to go to school with the black people. They did not want the society to integrate together. Given to the coach from the black school, and the kids from the white school don't like that. They don't like that at all, and they do not want to play together with the players from the other school. So this is important to note as well. So you can remember this after you watch it. The film is based on a true story, so you can see the picture of the real people. Okay, and now we will look at some key quotes from the film. That conflict, you're not going to win anything. So, an example of a group of people who put their differences together for a common goal. There's an example of a group of people. So you get lots and lots of different players together in a team to achieve one thing. So there's Spain winning the World Cup. Different players achieve the goal. The next important theme, I think, in the film is the importance of family and friends and showing respect. So, respect and equality for everyone is very, very important if you want to achieve anything. So that's the second important thing, I think, from the film. So, respect. And the final one, I think, is very, very important too, is the importance of showing leadership. And all of the main characters in the film have to show leadership. And the thing about showing leadership, especially to bring about peace, it is very, very difficult. It is not an easy thing to do, to be a leader, but in the film we will see how people do it. Okay, and there's Martin Luther King telling you that the time is always right to do what is right. So I've spoken for about 10 minutes here. I'll just finish up. So this film, it's a Disney film. It's a very nice story. And it deals with some difficult themes. So themes like racism and inequality. So racism and inequality, especially regarding sport. And it would be easy to think that the film is very, very happy at the end, and that's everything sorted. But racism and equality still exist today, especially regarding sport and especially regarding society. So you might have seen this. I just wanted to use it in the presentation too. This was the other day. So there was a Champions League match in Paris, and there was an act that's been shown on TV where the fans of Chelsea would not let a black man get on the train. So this shows you that this theme of racism, of inequality, it hasn't ended. So you can't change things very easily. You can't change things overnight, but it's a more gradual effort, and everyone has to do their part. So it said, I've just said at the end, hopefully you can think of your own daily life in the context of this film. Is there anything you could do differently? Is there a situation where you could be showing more respect or leadership? Remember the Titans. So that's the name of the film. And finally, enjoy the film. I'll put it on for you now.